welcome to Stitching Big Things with Hallie. I'm Hallie. This is my first Floss Tube video. So, patience, a little bit of grace, we'll get through it together. I'd like to start off by doing the Know Your Needleworker tag. So the first question is, where do you live? I live here in Texas, here in the United States. What do you do for a living? I am a stay-at-home mom, have been for about the last 14-15 years. It's been a real nice blessing. Do you have any kids? I do. I have 4 boys, 20, 17, 15, and 12. Very active boys. And that kind of goes along with the next one. What other hobbies do you have besides cross-stitching? Cross-stitching is my main one. I do love to read, and I would say participating and being active in my boys' activities, their schooling, all their sports activities, that is certainly a hobby of mine, and I love it, enjoy it. I was a huge tomboy myself, and so for me there's nothing better than sitting on the sidelines. What's your favorite TV show? Okay, everybody, I'm probably going to date myself here. I am a huge Survivor fan. I have been a huge Survivor fan from season 1, show 1. Loved every one of them, watched every one of them. Back in the day, my kids were little, we would all sit down and mommy would be like, okay, it's time for mommy's show. That was the one thing I always made them be quiet, and we would sit and watch together. Now, they just leave me alone, so I can watch in peace. I love NCIS, anything on Netflix. I'm a big docuseries person, documentary person. Anything I can learn something in, I'm all about. So, what's your favorite music? I love everything. I have even been known to let my boys play rap in the car to introduce me to some of their music and some of the things they like. Not always a huge fan, but we certainly give everything a try. What is the one word that's going to describe my stitching? Varied. Over the next little bit here, you're going to see a variety. I do everything. A lot of big stuff, but I also do little stuff too. With big stuff, you need some finishes, so a lot of times I'll do little things to kind of help me get that reward of the finish in there. How long have I been stitching? Been stitching 25 years plus, again, dating myself. I taught myself once I graduated from college and I had my evenings free. I needed something to do with my hands, so I went out and bought a dimensions kit just like everybody else does. Taught myself. I had a few family members who did a little bit of needlepoint, and so they were a great go-to for any questions, but I just kind of figured it out on my own and got better as I went along. So, okay, let's get to the stitching. First thing I'm going to show you is my most recent finish. I do have to tell you, there's a dirty word on here, so I did cover it up. Don't want to offend anybody. But here is my first little guy, because big finish is going to be a while. Anyway, let that stuff go. I found this little guy on Etsy. It was Gabby Jerome, Stitchy Little Fox is where I found that on Etsy. This one is stitched on 25 count helix by Picture This Plus, and it's 2/2. Love the coverage, loved how it turned out, super excited. May actually even stitch it again for somebody else I know, put a little back frame on that, and just let it sit around wherever, be beautiful. So love that. I love to practice mindfulness, so stuff like that helps me remember to keep centered, keep right here in the present. Next thing I'm working on, these were the 2 things I've worked on this week, so you can kind of get an idea of what I like. Big things. You got to do a hate if you like big things. Heaven and Earth Design. This is one of the many I have. This one's called Red Maple Fairy. For whatever reason, I call this one Autumn Fairy. In everything I do, I put it in my book. Autumn Fairy, Autumn Fairy. So if I call it Autumn Fairy, don't be alarmed. It's Red Maple Fairy. Artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Love it. She's a big old gal, and I have enjoyed every stitch with her. Let me show you where I'm at. I did leave it partially in the Q-snap, but I did want you to be able to get a good idea of kind of where I'm at. I'm doing this on 18 count easy grid fabric, 2/1. It's great coverage. It is a little bit thick, but I don't mind that at all. I would rather have that as opposed to the other. I was so excited when I got to here. I was like, oh, that's her eyeball. Oh no, that's not her eyeball. That's her forehead. Yeah, not her eyeball. Her eyeball ended up being right here and her wing and all that good stuff. So I've just gotten a pretty good start on her. Super excited. I use her, any of my full coverage items in Full Coverage Fanatics. I am doing the state parks, and so I work until I get about 4,000, get the state park completed, and then move on to another one. This is the next one that I worked on in the last couple weeks. This one is Pentatonic by Ink Circles. I am doing this middle colorway. I looked at that and just said that has got to be in my life. Love it. I am doing this on just a random white 28 count fabric that I had in my stash. We did at one point have a needlework shop here in the town I live. She has since gone out of business, and when she was letting me know she was going out of business, I went in and bought like everything she had, like anything I thought I might use. I just went in and tried to get it. So this was from my stash. As you can see, whoops, I can turn it. This is the way it's supposed to be, but it should be either way. I started obviously with all the black. Don't pay attention too close. There are a few errors in here. Normally that's not my way. I normally prefer to have it all pretty accurate. We'll frog with no problem to make sure that things are good. This one I had gone too far and I realized I was off, and so I just said, you know what, we're just gonna go with it. But it has turned out beautifully overall. I don't think you can really tell. So we're moving on. So I'm excited about that one. Other stuff that I'm going to work on this coming week. This little temperature tree by Stitchin Mommy. I love this little thing. I have never been a temperature person. Suddenly, I think this is just excellent. So excited to have done this particular pattern. You can get this in her Etsy shop. She's doing it. There's a number of people doing it. And basically what you do is every day you go and get the high temperature for that day. You have a range and you stitch that color, each leaf for each day. So let me show you where mine happens to be at. This is mine. This is Picture This Plus Heartland. This is an 18 count and I have stitched it 2 over 1. Of course, at the beginning of the year, I started off, got my tree knocked out right away because I wanted to be able to just go back and easily add. I am June 1st, so I'm about 2 weeks behind, so I'm gonna work on this and get it caught up. That's kind of how I do it. I just go a couple weeks and then I knock out a bunch of it. The way I envision this is at the end of the year, I'm going to put 2020. I'm going to find some numbers and put 2020 at the bottom, just so I will have a reference for kind of what year this was. And I don't know if you can tell there and there, they're a little shiny. There's a little bit of glitter to those. Those are 2 of my boys' birthdays. I decided to add a little extra on those days, family birthdays, and probably my anniversary. I'll probably just add a little extra so that you know, those days were kind of special. So there's that one. My next one I'm going to work on this next week happens to be a Mirabilia by Nora Corbett. Love this. It's this kind of a dull picture. She is sparkly galore. This is Royal Games 2. Love this particular pattern. I happen to be doing her on an 18 count white opal. You can see getting a little sparkle there. She's going to be sparkly. She's got a lot of beads and a lot of Krynic in her, and I just thought the background would be even better. So super fun. I am also in the group doing Whip Go, so with Jessie Marie. So she is one of my Whip Goes. My goal for her for June is to get one lady done. So my goal, I'm working on the pink lady. I'm going to get the pink lady done. Hopefully that will be my goal to wrap up Whip Go. So I think that pretty well covers it for now. That gives you a good idea of what I've been working on, where I'm going next week. I'm hoping to check in on maybe a weekly basis to keep updated, and we'll go from there. So everybody, it's been my pleasure. It's been great to get to know you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And just remember, keep stitching those big things. I'll see you later. Bye.